Hey folks, what's going on? Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Monday, July 13th. So today was a positive trading day. I had 11 trades in my live account, so this is not the real win rate. I'll show you my Excel document briefly before we start. The majority were winners. The win rate was about 72% there. One or two lose. We're gonna look at those here in the video. So we're ending the day green, trading small size in the NASDAQ futures contracts, and we're going to do a little trade review just now here. I started off the morning in the simulator just because I wanted to get that flow going a little bit, because based on how I was feeling this morning, coming back from a pretty busy weekend, I just decided to go in the simulator for a couple of trades to start, just to get the ball rolling a bit. So I took a short here, and it was a little bit reckless, but I kind of like the setup still. As you can see here, we're trying to push for this 11,000 mark on the NASDAQ. We're trending higher before that, and I kind of really wasn't liking how it was stalling out around this level. So you're going to see here the market's giving me a bit of profit. You can see there's some seller momentum there, and I was in profit by about 6-7 points. And then you're going to see the buyers kind of come back to answer, and then I got out for a break even on that trade. So we continued to trade lower, and again, probably I put in the break even a little too quickly, and I wanted to be in the flow with these sellers a little bit more, because sometimes all it takes for you is to just sit there and watch the battle taking place. And again, when you're watching the battle, you don't want to be biased about the battle just because you're in a trade. And I find taking a lot of trades in the day, it kind of helps with your ability to remain somewhat unbiased about the market you're trading. Don't feel bad if you have to get out of the trade because your bias is not being confirmed. So you're going to see here there's a bit of indecision in the market, and then I cut it, and I was happy I cut it. So eventually the market traded higher, lower, and you're going to see me this time I grabbed the short again, because again, I'm not convinced with these buyers. We're just kind of chopping around these high 90s here, around the 11,000 mark on the NASDAQ. And again, I'm not convinced with the buyers. You're going to see there's a lot of buy liquidity that comes in, but the buyers are stalling out here, and that's why I'm looking to get short this market. So you're going to see me get filled there. I have a stop pretty close by, and again, it's not my intent for the stop to get hit, but you're going to see the market moved higher almost immediately after I sold it. But the reason I sold was based on what I was seeing on the tape earlier. So I wanted to see these sellers kind of come back, and you can see them come back here a little bit and push this thing back into the 80s. So lack of liquidity that I traded here earlier. And you're going to see us trade back into the 80s, and you're going to see me trail my stop a little bit there. And let's see if I manage to take a profit on this one. There we go. I'm trailing the stop, trailing it down, and then I'm out of the trade at 78. All right, so this is now me in my live account. The market is still struggling with this 80 area, and you're going to see we tried to pop above it and then failed. And now I'm looking at this as being an obvious area that buyers from earlier might be trapped in the short term here. So I'm looking to play this as a little scalp or a little fade here. I'm not looking for a big move, a very small move in fact. So you're going to see me sell this market here. And I'm getting ready to sell it because I think it's likely we could pop under these 70s. And you're going to see me sell it a little late there, in fact. But I still managed to grab a little scalp out of that market there pretty late. I had to be shorting it here once there was confirmation we were likely heading lower. So you're going to see we're kind of playing with it, but the sellers are still there. So I would say this trade was a little late. And again, I'm playing with fire a little bit here. All it takes is some buyers are going to push this way back up, and I'll be out of that trade for a loss. And you're going to see the buyers come in, push it all the way to 75. So I'm wrong at this point, right? I sold too late. But then again, I want to see how the buyers are reacting around 75. And you're going to see that I got out here for a win. So we pushed all the way to 75, had a little tail here that looked pretty obvious. And again, that was a good vehicle to get out once we had a nice pop below that. And you're going to see me trailing my stop. And I'm out of the trade at 64.75. So nice little short scalp. I did sell a bit too early, but the tape kept me confident that we were likely going to trade a bit lower. And I find the NASDAQ does do this behavior a lot, where we'll be chopping around in a consolidation range, and it'll look like a buy the dip type of trade because it's so obvious that that's why the short works better than the long. So I'm not going to go in depth about that sort of trade, but that's the kind of stuff I look for. And you're going to see after that we trade higher. Where was the next trade here? And this is where we finally break above the 11,000 mark. So I grabbed a little short here when I wasn't convinced about these 90s. Lots of sellers kind of defending these 90s here. And you're going to see us push lower into the 80s. And I put in the buy, stop, and get out. I got out a bit early on that one. You're going to see how we traded lower after. And again, we stayed within this trading range. So again, we were in fact in a trading range before breaking above the 11,000 mark. And then we managed to stay back in the trading range, which is why there was potential for a bigger move. So I had to be a little bit more patient with trailing down that stop at that point. And that was my mistake. So I missed out on another 10 points of profit there, but still got out with a profit. You're going to see the bulls come back to buy the dip here, and we push all the way back and break the highs. All right, this was the one loss that I had taken. And so basically we're pushing back up to test these 1100s, these 11,000s. So we pulled back here. And again, because this is a nice little double top, I'm still interested in the short because lots of longs are getting very excited about this as being bullish. But again, I'm skeptical of it because I'm seeing mixed action on the tape that could say that we're most likely going to keep stalling every time we break higher. So that's why I'm interested in fading these rallies, even though we're in somewhat of an uptrend / trading range. So I sold right here. You're going to see me sell around 11,000 here. And the market, you see it kind of chops around these 11,000 mark, and we're kind of trading higher, but no follow through. So I wasn't entirely convinced to get out at this point, but when I starting to push above these 7/8s, I think I decided to cut the trade early. So it missed my stop by 1 tick or 2 ticks, and then traded back down into the 7s. And then so I was like, all right, I think I stopped that by a tick. I'm lucky. So let's see what happens at this point. If it hits my stop, I'll be out. If not, I'll stay in. Not a big deal. So you can see I'm underwater there. And I get out, and thank God I get out at 11:10, because after that it was a huge bull all the way to 20 and higher. The bulls came to push this pretty aggressively up. You see the Nasdaq just trending higher all the way through here. And again, I'm not good at going long. I'm better at fading rallies than going long for some reason. Okay, here's the next trade. This was a loser, in fact. So I can see we're pulling back from these 1140s, and I'm looking to play a fade. I want to see if the sellers have some momentum to go and grab these stops under these 1130s. So I'm watching the sellers, and they're kind of trying to prove themselves, but they're not really proving anything yet. They're picking up a bit of size around the 37s, not really trading there aggressively. See, we came up, broke the high by a tick, came back to test this range here where I'm short. Probably I should have cut this break even. When I saw the market doing this, what do you guys think? You guys tell me in the comments below. Should I have cut this trade break even right here? After seeing this sort of thing, it's tightening up nice and easy like this. Would you stay in the trade or would you cut it break even? Because I was kind of unsure. As you can see, it's in a tightening range. So you're going to see the market start to move higher here above the 40s. And as I saw it moving above 43, that's when I started to think about cutting the trade for a smaller loss than I had actually anticipated. Because again, I'm not anticipating using this stop. I want to cut it before it hits that stop most of the time. But you're going to see me stop out as we push above these 43s. Again, sellers are not proving anything clearly. I decide to cut the trade. So you're going to see here 45, and I decide to press the button and I'm out. So my stop was at 49 or something, and I said, cut this, get out. I got filled at 45.50. I was out of that thing. No interest in staying short at that point, as the sellers were literally proving nothing at that point. So no reason to stay short. So right now, I think we have some time left in the video to go over at least one of the winners. I like to talk more about the losers than the winners because I'm trying to get better. I took a short there after we broke higher with not much follow through, and that trade ended up being profitable. You're going to see how we moved lower. I'm trailing my stop and I'm out. So nice profitable trade there. And then we moved higher again, I believe. Okay, this time I sold it again on after that bull break. We're breaking back down into the 40s another time. I sold it there and I cut it break even. I sold it there and cut it break even another time. Same old thing. Because I'm not being convinced by the sellers. The sellers are trying to prove themselves, but I'm not convinced enough. That's why I'm cutting them break even. So you're going to see me do that again there. We trade higher. I don't get stopped out. And it continues the same old pattern. So we're seeing this pattern right here where we're seeing higher high, trading range, higher high, pull back into the range, higher high. So there's definitely buyers trying to front run this, stay in this uptrend. But again, we're not getting a lot of follow through, which means that if we trade lower relative to this volume, we will most likely trade a lot lower faster because we'll be trapping out bulls. So you're going to see how we consolidated. And now this is the point where a lot of block orders start to come into the market. So I was still short from here. I'm looking for a little pullback under the 50s, seeing if we get it again. A lot of volume trading around this 50 mark here. So we're going to get a little push into these 47.6s, and then I'll trail my stop down. I'll get out of that with a small profit. So there we go, 47. Seeing if the sellers can prove themselves all the way down to 45.50. Not much follow through yet. And you can see me there. I'm trailing down my stop. And as I'm trailing it down, I'm between where am I going to lock in profit and where should I put my stop in the case that I think that we're going to continue moving a lot more in my favor. So it's always between those two things. So I'm trying to lock in some profit and at the same time not trying to move my stop too close that I get stopped out immediately. And again, it depends. You have to read the tape and gauge how much momentum there is in your favor or not, okay? And you're going to see me here get stopped out as the market pushes up here. So watch what happens here. I got my stop at 47.75. Let's see if I move it or not. And you're going to see the market tick up. Boom. I'm out. I got filled at 49.75. 2 points higher than where my stop was. So not ideal, but at least I still got out. At least with a stop order, you're going to get out at a price. So again, as we're doing this another time, and I want to know what made me get short, first of all. So you're going to see us pop up into those high 50s again. Not a whole lot of follow through. And I think that was enough for me to kind of get short. As soon as I saw us trying to push under these 50s, I was like, let's do it. Keep a stop above the highs. Let's get short with a stop above the highs. That's sort of what I was thinking. So I get short there. And you see I get filled at 49.75. Not a bad fill. And we try for lower prices. You're going to see I get in profit almost immediately. But again, we're still chopping around this 50 mark. So this 50 is acting a bit like a magnet at this point. You're going to see a lot of size come in on these block tapes here in a second. So just keep an eye on those block tapes. Now look at this. So we are 11:41 a.m. Now look at these orders starting to come in here. Pay attention to all the size that's about to come in here between these 52s and these 50s. So we have sell orders right there, about 60 lots at 52.50. Now keep watching. Look at all this. Lots of size coming in there. Look at that. A ton of buys, a ton of sells. So somebody's closing positions, opening positions. These are big players right here, okay? Look at that volume. We got 700 contracts on the bid at 52.50 and 700 contracts on the ask at 52.75. 1,400 contracts on the NQ right there. If that's not institutional size, then I don't know what is. This is just monstrous size coming in right here. And it's just a lot of it all at once. And then after we start to trade lower. And now let's watch where we trade after this here. You're going to see a lot of orders came in there. And again, keep an eye on that. It's so apparent. And that instantly became our highest volume traded price right there after that occurred. So watch what happens next. I'm short. I want to see us trade lower relative to this volume, of course. And you're going to see us trade lower. And then I get out of the trade. I sold it, had my buy stop, and I got out. I'm still watching at this point. So look at how we popped all the way almost to 50. And again, for me, that 50 mark was that key zone, okay? Because a lot of that size came in up there. So if we're going to trade below that, I think we might continue lower now. This might be a signal that the market's changing its tune a bit. And again, that's just speculation. So just watch this here. I shorted again after we popped with no follow through. So I'm looking for a potential continuation move. I'm short at 43. I see, and I'm looking for this move down to potentially you can't see it here, but if you zoomed out, basically a lot of the long stop losses are around the 30 mark and below that. This right here is the reason why you shouldn't always use a break-even stop. Not always. Because sometimes you'll see a lot of this action where you'll see a big old pop and then come right back down. So you kind of need to be in the flow with that. And sometimes that happens quite frequently. Just be more strategic as to when you put in break-even stops. So again, there we go, another pop up into the 40s. But again, for me, as long as we're trading below 50, it's still bearish. So look at this sell momentum, and I want to see us get under these 40s. Trying for the 40, there we go, 39, 38. And I'm slowly moving down the stop, watching the tape, watching the action here. Are the buyers going to be aggressive, come back and push this? Or is this going to be a potential free fall all the way down to the 30s? I'm moving my stop up, and then I got out around 40.50. So again, I wasn't convinced with those bears as we popped right back up to 40s. But still, because I'm a nimble, agile trader, I can easily get back short if I see there's still sellers in this market. So watch how we pop up above 42 again. Let's see the kind of follow through we get. So we're trading 42s, 43s, not a lot of size. Now the bids are getting attacked. Look at that, bids are getting attacked again. And that's me selling again. Got filled pretty badly at 37.25, but doesn't matter. As you can see, there's still some seller momentum, and I'm looking for a push all the way down to the 30s. So looking for some of this seller momentum to potentially continue here. We're kind of arguing with those 35s, and then we're trading lower, 34s to gauge this. And there we go, 33s. We're trading lower. Not a whole lot of demand yet on the buy side. Trading into those 33s, 32s. Bids are getting smashed, and here we go, we're at 30. So at this point, now we're near the support zone. So we're starting to break down the support zone, potentially catch some weak longs. And there we go, I'm putting my buy stop in. Nice old short trade, look at that. It's just great. And then I think I get out. And I think I just cut it. Yeah, I cut it at 25.25. Even though there was still some clear downside momentum in that market, I decided to cut it. That was pretty much the move I was looking for. Actually, I was looking for the move down to about the 30s, 25s. And that was it. So that's going to conclude today's trade review, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.